So which one? What is preferred? 15 की जगह 1. So easy to remember, easy to administer, easy to manage. दूसरा, as Ashik was referring, इतने सारे रिटर्न भरने या एक, मतलब इतने सारे compliances के रिटर्न भरने या एक compliance के इतने सारे रिटर्न भरने. So collaboratively we are filing the same. But when we were studying it, I was shocked to hear and review in all these returns, the use of technology which Indian government is going to do is far more advanced compared to even the advanced compliant countries where compliances are there of GST itself for many years. In GST-CA, which was mentioned as input for the purchases that you have, more than 90% of your return or data to be submitted will be ready directly in the portal. You are just adding that 10% on data which is missed out because the other person has not filed it or something like that. So typically your one area, if you are controlling well, your majority of your task is getting covered, and that one area is what? Sales side. If your GST collected side, if you are controlling, I am putting it across GST collected side, not even sales for that matter. GST collected side or liability side, if you are controlling well, practically whole administration is very simple. Seems to be so many steps, and central government has achieved this in past also, and you are all enjoying that fruits. Do you agree? You have something which is something simpler like this. 26 AS, 30 days. Those who are like me dyeing the hairs, they would have experienced that how tedious was tedious previously. Now it is simple. Any payment, it is not for goods, tedious तो लगेगा. Simple है ना? फिर सिर्फ देखना ये है कि कौन से सेक्शन में तो परसेंटेज क्या लगाना है. But otherwise tedious तो लगेगा. That's a simple math now. And once you do that, nothing else. All details are available. Directly electronically. No physical involvement of the payer. पहले वो TDS सर्टिफिकेट बनाओ, साइन करके भेजो, गलत गया फिर से रिवाइज करो. कितना हेडेक्स था? All has got simplified. Thanks to what? Indian government? Technology. Technology has helped the government to really simplify it more. And thankfully, to all our political issues, this law has took 16 odd years to really come into force. I am saying thanks to that. Why? Because in this 15-16 years of period, practically all these small points that were supposed to be taken care has been literally taken care by our administrative officers. In India, we are very lucky to have very fantastic group or breed of IAS officers. Yes, due to political pressures, they are also having some limitations, but if you look at their quality and the ability to deliver, amazing. Complexity of our country, at least a group of maybe 25-30 countries could be one country as regards to variety. All this is addressed. Now, this I am just reading about preface to make sure that when we are looking at this technology change that is going to happen, today we are talking right now, what we are going to discuss is more about how technology will help rather than only tally. Tally is just one element which we are discussing as a model because majority of us are users of tally. But how technology is moving and how technology will help us. Let us look at it. Yeah, can you just go to this? Yes. This is our current scenario. We are tax practitioners using tally or something else. I am putting tally for example. And we receive data from multiple peoples for compliances. Here I am not talking of only GST, I am talking of any compliance today and ultimately GST also. Someone will send us data in Excel, someone will send us the physical file, we will convert that data, and some places we will get the data from some software which can be tally or non-tally. This is how we receive the data, we do the compilation and file the returns on behalf of the client, and luckily client has to sign that, and that signatures are in our drawers. Many times some of our intelligent officers do a small error, apply the digital signature of one instead of A or instead of B, because all digital signatures are with us. And till now, lucky we are, departments are not rigid on that. Ideally, what digital signatures you are carrying, are nothing but open checkbooks of all. If you use that for something, you can ruin the company over there. You have, means that digital signatures have that much power. But we are lucky it is not happening in the negative sense in India. Trust kept by the business peoples and maintained by the tax professionals or the coordinators is really, really great, and we are successfully doing that. Now, with this all things, what is important is there is a lot of exchange of information happening. We compile some data, we send to the client, client verifies it, yes, everything is covered, then we file on behalf. Few times, yes, we own that, but of making filing it because time is short, but most of the time that is the broad mechanism that will happen. Now, on all this, with GSTN, this will become really simpler. What exactly would be the major simplification that would help you as a practitioner? One very basic and very major simplification is you file the details, save as draft. Don't sign on behalf of client. Please prefer or request the client to sign and file the return as final. This will help you come out of your liability, A, which is very important. B, this will also help the client to be double sure what he is signing is right. Tomorrow, that blunder happened by anyone should not come to you as an error or a blunder for your company and your clients or your teams. So, this is something which will happen possible because GST network, GSTN as the title it provides this ability, and softwares like Tally and some few others also coming in, they all would provide you this flexibility. Not within the software, but because of GSTN possible within the software. So you compile that, share and get. Would this make it simple for all of us? Would this simplify? Yes, no? Lots of simplification will come. More so, relaxation will come. Next point is, after this, next slide. No, filing of return, as returns was being briefed across, I am not going into details of which return when, but I am just going to brief across how it would flow probable, as per the current flow or current understanding that we are sharing across. Is the taxpayer would file all these things through the application or ASP as the term. This application will talk to the GSP and finally GST network. Now this hops in between are something which are, if I look at it from an automation cycle perspective within a company, these hops are something like an approval cycle for us. If you look at positively, all these hops are an opportunity to correct if mistakes are there. Every such step is an opportunity to get your data revalidated, verified and confirmed, so that the final data that you submit do not go with errors. अब इसका utilization हम कर सकते हैं क्या? How do we do this? How can we benefit from this utilization? A simpler one is, should I file? Like 10th को हमारा GST 1 जाना चाहिए, GST 1, 10th is right. So on 10th it has to go. What should be our strategy, ideal strategy? Request the client to send data every week in case you are doing compliance on his behalf, or ask the client to upload the data every week and you verify weekly or bi-weekly, whatever is convenient for you, and save it as a draft. Don't file it. File it on 10th. इससे क्या होगा, एक साथ आप 50 क्लाइंट का भी कोऑर्डिनेशन करना होगा, तो it will be possible in 4 or 5 days. Otherwise, compiling the data and completing it would kill away your family time. If you receive everything on 3rd or 4th, and you have to do everything before 10th, in between 1 or 2 holidays, being Indians, we are lucky with that. So 1 or 2 holidays there, and your holidays are taken on task. Right? Wrong? Happens, na? So ये सारा can really help you streamline, and this is the power of technology that we should capitalize on. This you may do by filing on GSTN or compiling the data in the previous example as we do. Ask them to send the data time to time, compile it in your filing data or filing company of Tally in your office, so that you are able to have updated details of it. This you can do through various technology facilities that is available within Tally, like synchronization or export imports and so on. But doing this would really help you a lot. This, if I have achieved or done, what would be the challenge then? The challenges will become very simple because I would be able to have all data for filing verified and validated with me, so uploaded on time. B, because I have uploaded it on time and my suppliers have also done the same thing, my GST-2 will require practically no work. If I am buying from a regular supplier who is also a genuine strong entity, my GST-2 is no work. Because GST-2 is no work, then as Ashik was mentioning, on 10th only you should be ready. What is the bank balance? Check your bank statement also. So 10th को ही आपको पता है कि आपको फाइनली भरना कितना है, और उसके लिए आपको 20th तक का वेट भी नहीं करना पड़ेगा. So you can get all these details right early, because technology should help you for what purpose? What is the use of technology for all of us or any one of us? Just speed up the work, nothing else. Can it replace your work? No, it will just speed up your work. Put repetitive routine works onto technology so that you are able to free out yourself from something which just is a routine work and do something more intelligent or more qualitative work. So from a quantitative aspect you move to a qualitative aspect. Technology should be used for that, in automating that processes which are quantitative, taking up your time but not helping you in qualitative assessment or value creation. ये सब चीजें उसमें काम है. Next is अब ये GSTN का इकोसिस्टम हम सिर्फ क्विकली रिपीट और अंडरस्टैंड कर लेते हैं. How exactly this will work is the same way what we were discussing. The taxpayer shares it with the application. Now this ASP or application can be the TRPs or the software that they are using. Using the software being used by the TRPs, the tax return preparators, or the company's accountants only. From there, going to the common portal of GST and then finally going to the GST network. ये जो stages है, ये सारे stages हम लोग यहीं से कर सकते हैं, और इसके लिए practically all softwares will be ready. All softwares, many softwares will be ready. Why I'm saying so? Because the GST network, the group has already done a lot of work with all the companies to get this back-end technology connectors ready. They technically term it as APIs, which is application protocol and interfaces for them. So these interfaces, the protocols are all set. So to exchange data, two ways. Now Tally is also a GSP, Tally is also an ASP. So effectively, they have created a complete seamless cycle for a user. So if you are a user of a software like Tally, who has all these stages, single application will take care of all. Now we'll see what are the advantages or challenges that will get addressed over there. Yeah, next slide. Now, what exactly this will do is definitely reduce or remove the complexity that is there, because everything is in one source. See, major time goes in for all of us while doing compliance work for any client is what, where reconciling the data last cent and now. क्योंकि हर बार फाइनल अंडरस्कोर फाइनल आता ही रहता है फाइल, राइट? फाइल आता है, फाइल के आगे क्या लिखा रहता है? May 17 अंडरस्कोर फाइनल. फिर उसके एक घंटे के बाद दूसरा फाइल आता है, May 17 अंडरस्कोर फाइनल अंडरस्कोर फाइनल. और फिर हम लोग जब उसको बोलते हैं हाँ हम लोग ने फाइनल फाइल ली है, दोनों बोल रहे हैं फाइनल फाइल ली है, लेकिन दोनों फाइल में फिगर्स अलग है. ये बोल रहा है मेरा टोटल आना चाहिए 4,78,000 और वो बोल रहा है आपका टोटल आ रहा है 4,87,000, और दोनों राइट है. क्यों? दोनों फाइल गलत देख रहे हैं, तो दोनों का टोटल उनके हिसाब से राइट है. बट ये जो वेरिएशंस है, दिस वेरिएशंस आर वेरी वेरी हार्मफुल फॉर कंप्लीटिंग द टास्क ऑन टाइम. दे आर लिटरली योर टाइम एक्सट्रैक्टर्स और ड्रैगर्स, because you need to do this reconciliation time and again, and this is killing you. Is that the scenario? Can someone just by show of hand you can show how many of you face such problems from your client's data?
Everybody.
थोड़ी देर के बाद सब लोग हाथ ऊपर कर रहे हैं. चार्ज नहीं किया तो मैं भी करता हूँ. नहीं तो क्लाइंट का मेरे क्लाइंट की इज्जत कैसे उतारूं? हाँ? Every one of us are facing this challenge. That's a fact. Yes, I agree. Gravity or the proportion of challenge is different based on the type of client and based on the user at the client end. वही client में पहले अच्छा टाइम पे आता था सब डेटा, उसका वो अकाउंटेंट चेंज हो गया, उसके बाद वापस डेटा गड़बड़ हो गया, या पहले नहीं आता था, अब नया अकाउंटेंट आ गया तब से राइट आ रहे हैं। ये सब हम लोग फेस कर चुके हैं। जब जिनके पास भी 25 प्लस क्लाइंट है उनके यहाँ में ये रेगुलर फीचर है। 2-5 क्लाइंट कोई डील कर रहे हो तो अलग बात है, पर जैसे ही आपकी साइज बढ़ जाती है, ऑडियंस टू एड्रेस और ऑडियंस टू सर्व ये बढ़ता है, ये कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी अपने आप बढ़ जाती है, किसी के भी हाथ में नहीं है कंट्रोल करना। सो व्हाट एग्जैक्टली इज कमिंग आउट फ्रॉम दिस इज, if I am using a structured application like this is going to help me big way. How this is going to help me in making sure this change or this variations comes up highlighted in Tally. How many of you are using Tally ERP 9 and above, the release 5 and above, sorry, within that release 5? Oh great, many of you. So many of you might have seen some report structure over there called triangulation report. एक नया रिपोर्ट उधर आ गया है बटन, कंप्लायंस जो भी यूज कर रहे हैं टैली में उनको वो रिपोर्ट एक नया दिख रहा है। एनीवन ऑफ ओवर हियर अवेयर ऑफ दैट रिपोर्ट? सीन? ओके, दो विल बी एबल टू टेक दैट लेटर, जस्ट डोंट फॉरगेट इट। वो रिपोर्ट जब हम रिपोर्ट पे जाएंगे तो डिटेल में बात करूंगा, लेकिन जस्ट सिंगल है दैट रिपोर्ट इज समथिंग लाइक योर बैंक रिकंसिलिएशन मैनेजमेंट फॉर कंप्लायंस। बैंक रिकंसिलिएशन टैली में करते हैं सब लोग, जो काफी सालों से यूज कर रहे हैं। So something what you do in bank reconciliation for matching your bank and your data, the time difference of that data, this is extension of it for compliance management. This is a simplified understanding of that report. We'll take the detail report in detail at a later stage, but this is helping you save time. Like VRS manual, those who have done manual VRS, few unluckies like me have noted that 1 month VRS takes around 2-3 days just to do that ticking, and in that बीच में कोई चाय बीच में आ गया, चाय गिर गया उसमें, फिर से एक बार there is no nothing like कि उधर तक का पूरा, उसके आगे का नहीं, फिर से जीरो से स्टार्ट करो। so ये सब होते रहता था, और मैनुअल करते हो ज़्यादा, फिर क्या होता था 5 अलग-अलग कलर की पेंसिल रखनी पड़ती, तो ये पेंसिल वो कलर ये हो गया, तो सेकंड टाइम करते हो दूसरा कलर दूसरा पेंसिल, तभी का फोटोकॉपी वाज आल्सो नॉट दैट इजी। सो बैंक स्टेटमेंट की इतनी कॉपियां भी नहीं मिलती थी। So now at that time this was something which was a huge Herculean task. Same is the scenario for compliances today. But with this technology getting added up, this task became very easy today. Those who are users of Tally, the younger generations typically who are using this more deeply, more regularly, they might have experienced bank reconciliation they are doing on a daily basis, sometimes 3 times a day. Just see whatever 2 checks got updated, put the date there and it is on. Few of them download the statement and do auto reconciliation. ये जो साइकिल हो गई, इससे क्या हो गया? एक्यूरेसी हाईएस्ट हो गई। सेकंड क्या एडवांटेज हो गया? जो सबसे बड़ा एडवांटेज है, टाइम बच गया। We started saving a lot of time there, and we are able to now put that same saved time into more qualitative work rather than the quantitative checking of numbers. This plus this or this is to this, लेकिन ये वो चेक करने का काम कम हो जाता है। Now this is something which has saved a lot of for us. Same way this report and such structures that are there because of the single source of data set would help us and save a lot of this. Next. Now Tally has done good few initiatives. I'm sure few of you would be aware, but just for your quick insights and quick updates, I'm just sharing. Tally for GST has done a few things like made a block set. You can just visit the Tally's website on the blocks and you will see lot of information around that. I'm wrong. So lot of information about it. Then Tally has a mobile app for GST, so you can just put across onto your Android app, set up this Android. So previous just this one. So this on a Google Play Store, Android, there is an application which provides you a lot of information about regular updates of GST and within Tally, integration of it within Tally. Next is helpline of Tally. So a free line is available, practically working 24/7. You can call, get the support and get clarities. And in case you have specific queries to your business, to your activities, you can send an email to them directly. They have created a separate help desk for addressing this. Now, this is an ecosystem Tally has created. I have not created. But this is something which can help a lot for the users to get aligned and adjusted with the technology changes. Next slide. Now, what I have briefed across till now was more about briefing of how, what of the technology usage and linkage between the Tally. Is Tally GST ready? Because many of them informally and formally ask me this question. Would you show some screens of Tally with GST into it? So answer is, should I show or should I not show? Can I show or can I not show? I can't. Because formally they are not yet launched, so they will not. Till the final approval of the law will not happen, no software will launch that particular screens. Same way Tally will also not. So naturally, if they are not launching, I cannot show you. But what I would like to share and put across points here is Tally ready for GST? Yes or no? How many of you are using compliance in Tally? Any compliance, VAT, service tax, TDS or anything? How many of you have used it? Huh? Just by show of hand, so that I just understand how deep I should go. Only few of you have used? Yes, used it? So only few of them have used. So quickly I will take bullet points around here. Please allow me 5 more minutes extra. Yeah. So in any compliance, be it VAT or others, in past, those who have not used release 5 and above, in past there was a predefined list of masters that you have to link. Without that, returns will not get ready properly. Now Tally has created an infrastructure, again thanks to that political issues. It took a lot of time to come up. So Tally had already made something ready internally. So they started putting that as a base feature structure only. And they have made that ready and available. Like, you can create your own tax masters with your own titles, with your own structures. Why was this made, or why might have it come? One of the core reasons probably is, if you recall, few years back, around three odd years back, we all were afraid that GST will again become same complex like multi-state having different structures, few states coming in, few states not coming in, and it may take 2-3 years of transition till everyone comes on a single box. Thanks to UP, now there is no opposition. Yeah, so it is moving up now. UP is, but these all things literally were creators. So these were all fears. So they had allowed a flexible structure to be created by you. So those who are using release 5 and above, they might have seen you can create your own tax category and tax structures within yourself to manage the way you want. Second was, you define what is applicable, and this, so you can configure and make it applicable or not applicable. At the product level also, means item level also, or the ledger level also. So this helps you a lot to administrate. So those who are using service tax or TDS of it, which is a central compliance, you might also, more than 95% of the requirements of the compliance are getting ready directly from Tally itself, as far as returns, as far as filing uploads and all that is concerned. Yes, 5% manual intervention comes in because there are unique scenarios across. But approximately 95% of the data gets ready for excise, service tax and TDS directly from Tally. For VAT also for few states. But VAT being multiple states having different patterns, it is, I would not say it is very high and very accurate. It would be accurate to the tune of around 80% as far as data giving is concerned. Putting it into the formats, there would be challenges. Then the triangulation report came up. Now this report, can you just open the report because it will be difficult, many of them have not seen it. Open Tally. So this report is basically with the focus of helping you identify probable errors. What are the probable errors that can happen? Error type A. I am not saying 1, 2, 3, but it is types. So one of the type of error is what? My masters are wrong. Wrongly configured. Wrong means wrongly configured. I have configured something which is taxable, but ideally it is not. Or the other way around. Something which is not taxable as a company or a party, I have configured as taxable. And while doing the transaction, I did the exact opposite of it. It will get highlighted. You say this entity is not eligible or not entitled for to be taxed. Still in the transaction you are saying tax is applied. Please check whether the master is wrong or the transaction is wrong. This report helps you to identify that error. Same way, the other scenarios, transactions are wrong. Like I have recorded a transaction which was supposed to be ideally for all, there were 10 transactions of the same nature. In 9 of them I had applied, say for example 10%. But in one of them I had applied 4.5% for any reason. It highlights telling you this probably seems to be an error, please double check. Now this 4.5 may be for logical reasons. You may say okay, this is right, it will take further, otherwise it will show you an alert. These things are pre-built now in Tally, currently what you are using also. So there are various pre-categorizations like tax rate or tax type not set specified in a particular transaction or a master. Then come back. Then incorrect tax selected and the tax with the tax ledger. So in the tax ledger I selected wrong tax, but the tax ledger behavior I said it should be this way. So if I go there, I will be able to see it says tax payable is 6% and I have selected CST instead of output VAT. So something might be wrong. So it should have been output according to Tally's suggestion. You please double check. If it is right, say it is confirmed, otherwise verify. Escape. Mismatch of tax amount or modification in voucher. Now this is something which will be a big help to you. Something is a mismatch. You have completed, you received the data on, say for example, second week of the month. Post that they did some corrections and they send you the data. You have verified, audited and confirmed up to that. Now this change, while doing this change, they did some modification which led to an error. Tally will help you identify. These were the changes and these are probable more highlighters for errors. Because that is a control built in such in this report. Now these all things would really make your life easier and administratively convenient. Yes, escape. Yeah, come back to the slide. Then auto identification of errors. Then the next issue is, which is a very practical challenge for many of us. There are multiple versions, as Ashit Boy was mentioning. You file a return for May and then you say, oh, January 17 I am filing today. Not only that, now in GST, it won't be a real scenario. I am just taking a hypothetical, very vague scenario, or maybe we'll not take that, we'll take a VAT only. You have, most of you have experienced, I have few friends of mine who say, luckily I don't do practice, so I am saved with that. Many of them saying, client says data is not ready but file the return. अंदाजन 10 लाख का सेल है, भर दो रिटर्न, जो भी टैक्स है भर दो थोड़ा, and you have to help, right? Yeah. You do that? Yes, you have to do that because it is going to take 15-20 days to complete the data, or maybe sometimes more time because the ski person is traveling or not available or something like that. So you file a return, and after a month or so, once you get the whole data, verify that, you file a revised return. अब ये सब हम लोगों के पास कहाँ मेंटेन होता है? एक्सेल फाइल्स में या फोल्डर्स में या ईमेल्स में. इसका रिस्क क्या होता है? फाइनल फाइल किसके लैपटॉप पे है? अब क्या लैपटॉप आ गया सबके पास, तो ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम हो गया. पहले सर एक मशीन था तो हाँ, ऑफिस का कोई तो एक मशीन में ही मिलेगा. अब तो किसके लैपटॉप पे घूम रहा है कोई फाइल पता नहीं है. उसमें हम ज्यादा लगे रहेंगे तो वो लैपटॉप जिसका था वो छोड़ के चला गया, तो कॉम्प्लिकेशन थोड़ा बढ़ जाता है, राइट? Otherwise, this is something which is creating a problem for many of us, and generally this requirement comes up after 1 or 2 years, or sometimes 6 months or 10 months later. Because we had filed the revised one, and assessment comes, scrutiny comes, and at that time we are searching for what is the actual file data. Because in the filing we have just given summary data. The details of it, how this number came in, is there in that Excel workings. Identifying, searching that files becomes a real challenge. In Tally, with this new releases, you can save the revised returns, save the returns that you are filing. So the moment I have filed, all this compilation is completed, I would say this data, this screenshot, save that. Next time I do modifications in Tally itself, make the modification in the transactions itself, and say now this variation, it will pop up and show you in different highlighters. This is the change that you have done. You agree to that change and say save this as version 2. Tally will save that within Tally itself. और जब आप रिट्राइव करने जाओगे तो आपको पूछेगा रिट्राइवल के वक्त भी आपको कौन सा वर्जन देखना है. 1 फाइल किया था वो, 2 किया था वो, 3 किया था वो, क्या आप 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 यूज कर रहे हो तो वो. You give your name for versions, you retrieve the way you want. Now these all things, what exactly does this mean for all of us? My technology, this technology or this application is nearly ready for such administrative management, which can be out of error, which can be out of time pressures, which can be out of changing persons, because these challenges can happen for multiple reasons. We don't have one reason for it. There are, for X client it will be because of the key person left the job in between and there is a challenge to collect the data itself. In Y case it may be they gave me the file but they gave me the wrong file. Particularly lucky are those where there are multiple legal entities. तो एक एंटिटी का फाइल था दूसरे को भेज दिया और उसमें हर एंटिटी का अलग कंप्लायंस ऑफिसर है, कंप्लायंस किसी अलग कंपनी के साथ डील कर रहे हैं, तो ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम होता है। तो ईमेल इसको करना था, भेज दिया दूसरे को और then we find the data using that data. So all that would get controlled here. So versioning and e-returns will be directly from Tally. So you can file, compile, like for TDS you can get directly the text file from Tally itself. For service tax you can get the complete this. For MCA filing you can get the XBRL also from Tally directly and so on. So all these are possible and these are all technology adaptation already done within Tally. And hence GST would be very easily adaptable. Why I am so confident? Just next week. Open is that Singapore. There is. I just created one company for Singapore. Many of you are aware of Indian tax compliance. So the moment we say F11 and go to the tax, we see so many taxes there. Say yes, no, and accordingly put the additional configurations. Singapore is very easy. I created a company for Singapore, set it up there. In Singapore, if I go and say F11, compliances, statutory taxation, only once there. Because same what India is going to follow, already is written there. Only single taxation. For indirect tax, one tax, GST. Over there, I just enable, activate this, file this up, put the basic details, save, go to the masters. I'll just show you a couple of master interfaces. Probably that would help us to understand how it will become or probably how it may come up for us in Tally. So create an account for sales. I just say GST applicable, yes, no. I can create n number of accounts for sales because we already always create that sales for traded materials, sales for manufactured materials and so on and so forth, or some other methodology, sales for services, sales particular set of services. So you may create n number of ledgers. Grouping of them in sales is critical and enabling GST over there is critical. Then the second element comes up is tax. Again we may create n number of ledgers for tax. GST on, say for example, technology services, GST on traded goods and so on. I wanted to create separate ledgers. I may create a number of separate ledgers. So the moment I create it, under duties and taxes, I would get an option of setting how exactly this will behave. Like it will just go back, just above, whether it will be on total sales or something else. So typically for us it is on total sales. Here sales defined is sales minus discounts applied in the invoice. So accordingly it will take that sales as a net sales. Then once I have structured that rounding and all, then the next very critical element comes in. What is the account type of GST? You may have given any name. You might have said Ashwin GST account. Because Ashwin is one profit center within your company and you are dealing with uska GST kitna hua kam zyada hua batao. So you may create a ledger like GST Ashwin. Allowed. Just configure it here, right? So your chart of account, your structure, as per your choice, behavior of technology for GST compliance, just by this couple of alignments and configurations. So you create it, link it there, whether it is a GST payable or a deductible. Payable deductible means हमारे language में input VAT output VAT, simple one. So input GST output GST. Configure it and it is up. यहाँ पे शायद इंडिया में क्या आएगा, एक और बीच में लेयर आ जाएगा, type of GST, IGST, CGST और ये. So based on that, where this input will be entitled to be claimed would be technology rated. So most of your figures will come directly from the software itself. You have to just verify that. Once verified, file that. Filing will be also from within the software. Probably we may see a button in Tally saying get details from the portal. So click on that. Your details are already configured. Tally.net subscription is already active, so it will go pull up the data from the portal and show you within Tally. This is the data that you have filed, or your compliance officers have filed, and you are able to align, match, and verify. Yeah. With this, considering the time, we'll say thanks to all of you. For any of your questions, probably all three of us are here for the panel discussion. So please.